very important to us. Please do not hang up. The next available operator will answer your call.
It is a familiar greeting, an automated recording you might expect to hear when you call your power company, but not when you call 911.
That's exactly what's happening, though, to thousands of people in Atlanta phoning in emergencies. A CBS 46 investigation found in the first 4 months of 2022, more than 40,000 people who called 911 in Atlanta sat on hold for 40 seconds or more. Investigative reporter Rachel Polanski digs into this alarming trend.
While waiting at a stoplight in northwest Atlanta, a man walks in front of her car, screaming.
Started hitting the hood, then he eventually broke off the wiper blade here.
In a panic, Alexandria Had puts her car in park.
My door's automatically unlocked, and that's when he came in my car.
She grabs her phone and dials 911.
You have reached the City of Atlanta 911.
She's greeted with this recording.
Please do not hang up. The next available operator will answer your call.
Desperate for help, she hangs up and redials, but she hears the same recording.
Your call is very important to us.
While she's waiting on hold, bystanders pull the man from her car.
I don't know if he was having like an acute mental episode. I don't really know why he picked my car.
She drives home and calls again. This time she talks with a dispatcher.
I called twice, but it didn't get through, and then I hung up. It was like in the middle of like an emergency. He snapped the windshield wiper off of my car, and I was trying to call you guys.
In an emergency when every second counts, a CBS 46 investigation uncovered a frightening trend. In 2020, roughly 5% of Atlanta's 911 callers waited on hold for more than 40 seconds. In 2021, that number grew to 9%. And in the first 4 months of 2022, that number jumped to nearly 13%. That's more than 40,000 people calling 911 and waiting more than 40 seconds before talking to an actual person.
I thought you'd get through right away all the time.
The same thing happened to Stephen Canavan last month.
I called to report an alarm here at the Lindbergh Motor Station, and I was placed on hold and ended up in a loop.
Your call is very important to us.
The recording played over and over again for more than 5 minutes before a dispatcher answered.
Is that a problem?
Yes. It's a problem. So we're working to resolve those issues.
We went directly to Atlanta's E911 director, Desiree Arnold, who blamed low staffing for longer wait times.
If you want to help us with resolving this issue, come be a part of the team.
According to vacancy data obtained by CBS 46 Investigates, Atlanta budgets 170 positions for E911. 141 of them are filled. The center receives roughly 3,000 calls every day. And right now, Arnold says their phone system does not separate 911 calls from non-emergency calls.
We're looking to upgrade the phone system so that we can differentiate the two. So we'll have 911 calls going into one queue and non-emergency calls going to another queue.
She expects that upgrade to be completed by the end of the year. But CBS 46 Investigates found that staffing is not the only factor impacting wait times. Through public records, we discovered that 3 power outages have taken place at the 911 center since November. And recently, a city worker said a new power supply was needed because the old one was, quote, 20 years old and at end of life. Arnold said she could not address that and sent me to the department who oversees city facilities, where a spokesperson told me that a $3.6 million plan is now in the works to replace and upgrade aging equipment. But of course, all of that will take time.
Well, obviously 911, it could be a life or death situation.
Time that those in emergencies don't always have.
If it hadn't been for bystanders pulling the man from my car, I don't know how long I would have been in that moment.
In the meantime, if you call 911 and you do hear that recording, do not hang up. Arnold says hanging up and calling back will not put you in front of the line. In fact, it will just create more issues for the call takers. Sean, Rick?
Rachel, as far as those upgrades that you learned about, the equipment replacements at the 911 center, any timeline on that?
Yeah, I'm told that the initial assessment has been completed, design is underway, and construction could begin here at the 911 center just behind me as early as this August. Of course, I will be watching this very closely. Rick and Sean.
All right, Rachel Polanski reporting for us tonight. If there is an issue you think CBS 46 investigates, you should look into this and send an email to investigates@cbs46.com.